The Last Goodbye. Written by Morgan Black. Narration services provided by 11 Labs Inc., produced by Morgan Black, copyright 2024, all rights reserved. The story, all names, characters, and incidents portrayed in this production are fictitious. No identification with actual persons, living or deceased, places, buildings, and products is intended or should be inferred. Chapter 1. The crisp autumn air bites at my skin as Finn and I make our way through the devastated streets of our once bustling town. Leaves crunch beneath our feet. The changing seasons once brought joy and anticipation. Now it's just dread and despair. Fall will become winter, and winters were hard without electricity. The only good that came from it were the frozen dead. Many couldn't move as fast as they used to, and some were frozen solid on the coldest nights.
Watch your step.
Finn murmurs, his eyes darting from shadow to shadow.
Never know what might be lurking.
I nod, gripping my makeshift weapon tighter. It's been a year since the dead started walking. A year since everything we knew crumbled around us. Sometimes I still can't believe Finn's here with me. For so long, I thought I'd lost him. Remember when you left for the city? I ask, my voice barely above a whisper. I waited for you, every day. Finn's face softens. Was it guilt or affection? Or maybe I just want him to feel that way.
I'm sorry, Liam. I never meant to.
It doesn't matter now. I cut him off, not wanting to dwell on old wounds. You came back when it mattered most. We lapse into silence as we approach the town square. The store looms ahead, its windows shattered, and its shelves likely picked clean by other survivors. But we have to try. Our supplies are running dangerously low. All I had for breakfast was leftover coffee and a single used-to-be-frozen pancake.
Ready?
Finn asks, his hand on the door handle. I take a deep breath, hyping myself up, as I'll ever be. We slip inside, our footsteps echoing in the eerie quiet. Finn heads for the canned goods, while I search for anything useful. Medicine, batteries, tools. It's slim pickings, but we manage to fill our bags with some essentials.
Gonna get ya!
Finn's excited whisper catches my attention. I turn to see him in my face, wearing a grotesque Halloween mask, grinning like an idiot. Jesus, Finn, I hiss, my heart racing. Are you trying to give me a heart attack? He chuckles, pulling off the mask.
Sorry, couldn't resist.
I'm about to retort when we hear it. Voices approaching fast. We freeze, eyes wide with panic. Hide, I mouth, and we scramble for cover behind a toppled shelf. The voices grow louder, accompanied by heavy footsteps. Raiders. My pulse pounds in my ears as I pray they'll pass us by. But luck isn't on our side today. As we try to sneak out, my foot catches on a piece of debris. I stumble, crashing into a display of cans. The noise is deafening in the stillness. Over there, a gruff voice shouts. Everything happens in a blur. A masked figure darts past me, heading right for Finn.
Shit!
Finn shouts.
Asshole!
I try to get to him to help, but my ankle gives way. I've sprained it in the fall. Helpless, I watch as Finn and the masked raider trade blows. A gunshot rings out, and suddenly the air is filled with the familiar, horrifying moans of the undead. The raiders are yelling now, their bravado replaced by fear. Finn! I cry out, struggling to my feet. Everything seems to slow down as I watch the raider shove Finn towards an approaching zombie. Finn stumbles, barely keeping his balance as he fights off the creature. The gun in his hand goes off and the zombie crumples. We need to go now! I grab Finn's arm, and we run. The world becomes a chaotic mess of shambling corpses and panicked shouts as we flee the store. My ankle screams in protest with every step, but adrenaline keeps me moving. Somehow, miraculously, we make it home. As I bolt the door behind us, relief washes over me. We made it! I pant, turning to Finn with a smile that quickly fades. Finn is leaning against the wall, his face contorting in anguish. Before I can ask what's wrong, he lets out a guttural cry and slams his fist into the plaster before slamming his bag of goods on the floor. Finn, I approach cautiously, confusion battling with fear. What is it? What's wrong? He turns to me, tears streaming down his face, and slowly rolls up his sleeve. There, stark against his pale skin, is a bloody bite mark. My world shatters. The next day is a nightmare I can't wake up from. Finn's condition deteriorates rapidly, his skin burning with fever as the infection ravages his body. I sit by his side, holding his hand, trying to memorize every feature of his face.
At least, I got one of those bastards.
Finn croaks, a weak smile on his lips. I choke back a sob. Yeah, you did. You were amazing.
Liam,
he says, his voice barely above a whisper.
Promise me. Promise me you'll survive. Fuck. I never should have come.
I nod, tears blurring my vision. I promise. I'll keep living, for both of us. I love you, Finn. I love you so much.
I know.
His words trail off as his eyes close for the last time. I sit there, numb, As the reality of what's happened crashes over me, Finn is gone. The man I loved, the one who came back for me when the world ended, is dead, and soon he'll come back as one of them. I know what I have to do. My hand shakes as I reach for the gun. One bullet. That's all it would take to ensure Finn doesn't become one of those things. But as I raise the weapon, I find I can't do it. I can't bring myself to destroy what's left of him. Instead, I drag his body to the laundry room. My hands shake like no tomorrow as I secure the handcuffs around his wrists, anchoring him to the sturdy pipes. It's the best I can do to keep him, and myself, safe. Hours pass, or maybe days, like I give a damn. Time loses all meaning as I sit vigil, waiting for the inevitable. When Finn's eyes finally open, they're clouded and lifeless. The person I loved is gone, replaced by a mindless, shambling creature that lunges at me, held back only by the restraints. I should feel horrified, disgusted. Instead, I feel nothing. A vast emptiness has taken root in my chest, swallowing everything else. I go through the motions of survival, eating, drinking, securing the house. But it's all mechanical. My mind is trapped in an endless loop of memories and what-ifs. I keep reliving that moment almost every hour. That piece of shit bastard pushed him into the zombie. If only I wasn't so freaking useless. It was all my fault. If I hadn't tripped like a moron. If only Finn had never even came back to this town for me. He would be alive. If anyone deserved to die, it was me. Chapter 2. I open my eyes to darkness. The chill of the night seeping through the thin blanket I've wrapped around myself. My teeth chatter as I pull it tighter, trying to trap what little warmth remains. Winter's coming, and with it, a whole new set of problems I'm not sure I'm ready to face. Finn would know what to do, I muttered to the empty room, my voice hoarse from disuse. The thought of him sends a fresh wave of pain through my chest, a wound that refuses to heal. I sit up, wincing as my ankle throbs in protest. That stupid fall, if I hadn't tripped. No, I can't go down that road again. The what-ifs will drive me insane faster than the zombies ever could. My gaze falls on Finn's gun, lying on the nightstand. It would be so easy. One quick moment of pain, and then nothing. Peace, maybe. An end to this constant struggle for survival in a world that's already dead. But I made a promise. Those words echo in my head, Finn's last request. Promise me you'll survive. Damn you, Finn, I whisper, tears pricking at my eyes. Why'd you have to make me promise that? The gun feels heavy in my hand as I pick it up, turning it over slowly. What's the point of staying alive? The world is dead, and I'll be joining it sooner or later. So why not now? Why not uncuff Finn and let my lover devour me? We could wander this wasteland together, forever. The idea takes root, growing more appealing by the second. It's poetic, in a twisted way. Romantic even, if you squint hard enough through the lens of a world gone mad. I drag myself to my feet, limping to the living room. The front door creaks as I open it, letting in a gust of cold air that makes me shiver. I gather what little food and supplies we have left, along with the gun, and arrange them on the coffee table, a final act of kindness for whoever might come after me. I find a scrap of paper and a pen, hesitating for a moment before scrawling out a message. Don't give up. Keep fighting to see tomorrow. It's worth it. A bitter laugh escapes me as I set the note down. What a hypocrite I am, preaching hope while I'm about to throw in the towel. The walk to the laundry room feels like a death march. Each step brings me closer to Finn, or what's left of him. I pause at the door, taking a deep breath before pushing it open. The thing that was once Finn turns towards me, chains rattling as it strains against its bonds. Those eyes, once so full of life, are now empty and hungry. Hey, Finn, I say softly, sinking to the floor just out of reach. God, I was so happy when you came back, you know. I thought, if anyone could survive this mess, it'd be you. The zombie that was Finn groans, snapping its teeth at me. But because of me, it's my fault, all of it. If I hadn't tripped, hell, if you hadn't come back, you'd still be alive. I'm about to reach for the handcuff key when a noise from the living room freezes me in place. Panic surges through me as I scramble to my feet. Did a zombie wander in? But no. I only want Finn to end this. I grab the gun from the coffee table, my heart pounding as I creep towards the bathroom. The sound of rummaging grows louder, punctuated by muffled curses. Not a zombie then. Something worse? A human? I pause at the doorway, weapon raised. Inside, a lean, muscular man with dark hair is tearing through the cabinets, oblivious to my presence. I wait, finger on the trigger, until he glances in the mirror and spots me. His hands shoot up immediately.
Whoa, easy there.
Out! I growl, gesturing with the gun. Slowly, keep those hands where I can see them. He complies, wincing with each step. As he moves into better light, I notice the blood staining his shirt.
Name's Milo,
He says, voice strained.
Listen, I'm hurt. I just need some supplies and...
There are some in the living room. I cut him off. Not much. But take what you need, and go. I keep the gun trained on him as we move to the living room. Milo's eyes widen at the sight of the supplies laid out.
I can really have all this?
He asks, disbelief coloring his tone. I nod curtly. Take it. I won't need it anymore. His gaze sharpens, sweeping over me with newfound intensity.
You bit?
No. Understanding dawns in his eyes, followed quickly by anger.
So what, you're just gonna off yourself? That's your big plan?
What's it to you? I snap, my finger tightening on the trigger.
It's cowardly is what it is. You're just giving up.
It's none of your damn business, I shout, my composure cracking. The front door creaks in the wind, drawing my attention for a split second. It's all the opening Milo needs. He lunges for the gun, his larger frame crashing into me. We grapple, my injured ankle screaming in protest as I struggle to keep my footing. Despite his size advantage, Milo's wound seems to be slowing him down. I manage to twist away, bringing the gun back up between us. I should just shoot you, I pant, adrenaline coursing through me. Milo raises his hands again, his face pale.
Don't. Please. I'm sorry, all right? I'm trying to save you from doing something stupid.
It's not your call to make, I retort.
You're right. It's not. But please, I can't leave.
I frown, confused. What do you mean you can't leave? Milo sags against the wall, one hand pressed to his bleeding chest.
I've been shot. Raiders. I'm trying to get away from them. If I go back out there now, they might spot me. They'll come here.
My blood runs cold at the mention of raiders. If they're around here, then they must be the same ones who got Finn killed. I can't risk it. But before I can decide what to do, Milo's eyes roll back and he crumples to the floor. Shit, I mutter, lowering the gun. Part of me wants to leave him there, to go through with my plan and let the chips fall where they may. But another part, a part I thought had died with Finn, won't let me. Chapter 3. I kneel beside Milo, unconscious and bleeding on my bed. The gunshot wound on his chest is alarming, but thankfully it isn't close to his heart. I can't shake the unease in my gut, though. Keeping him here feels risky. But after what happened to Finn, I can't let anyone else suffer the way I did. I can't just kick him out into the night, leaving him to the mercies of raiders or worse. So, the whole killing myself thing is on hold for now, I mutter, closing the door behind me and fumbling to secure the house. Every creak of the floorboards resonates through the stillness. This place is so fragile. Dragging Milo's heavy body to the bedroom is hard work, but I manage. Once he's on the bed, I take a moment to catch my breath. My hands are shaking as I remove his jacket and lift his shirt, exposing the wound. I force myself to focus as I grab the first aid supplies. After patching him up as best I can, I rifle through the garage for some rope and tie him to the bed. It may seem harsh, but trust is a luxury I can't afford right now. I glance toward the laundry room where Finn is. Well, the thing that used to be Finn. My heart aches at the thought of him. The man I loved, lost to that undead horror. I whisper softly to myself, I promise to follow you wherever souls go when they become zombies, and together, our bodies will roam this desolate world. But that day isn't today. I can't afford to lose sight of my humanity, not yet.
You always talk to yourself when you're alone?
His voice startles me. I didn't expect the stranger to wake up so soon. Guess I do, I reply, keeping my tone flat as I move toward him. Milo shifts slightly on the bed, his fierce green eyes locking onto mine. He's lean but muscular. The kind of guy I'd have avoided in high school while secretly crushing on the bad boy type. The way Finn once rode around town on his motorcycle. The epitome of rebellion. All the girls wanted him. Although Finn bullied me along with the other jocks, one day he rode up to me on his motorcycle while I was walking home from school. Before I knew it, he had grabbed my arm and dragged me off into the woods. The scent of pine and the warmth of the approaching summer sun filtered through the canopy above, casting dappled shadows on the forest floor. I had always fantasized about a guy wanting me, but living in a small town made those chances seem slim to none. So, imagine my shock when the captain of our football team was pushing me up against a tree, his breath hot on my face.
Suck me off, Liam.
He ordered, his voice a low growl. I was taken aback, confusion, and a strange thrill coursing through me. I had never touched anyone else's cock but my own, let alone sucked one. But there was something about Finn's demands that made me want to comply. I hesitated for a moment, my heart pounding like crazy. As I pulled back, Finn's eyes were dark and intense. He zipped up his jeans, his expression unreadable. Without a word, he walked away, leaving me standing there, my heart still racing, my body still tingling from the encounter. Ever since then, we met up in secret, and I would suck Finn off, until graduation. When Finn announced at the graduation party that he was leaving our small town and living in the city, I remember the day Finn promised he'd come back for me once he settled in the city. His words rang hollow. For so long, bitterness took root. As weeks turned to months with no word, I convinced myself it had all been a lie, that he'd just toyed with my feelings. Then the world ended. Corpses walked, and civilization crumbled. Just when I'd given up hope, there he was, my savior, in leather and denim. Finn came back for me after all, though not in any way I could have imagined. The joy of our reunion was short-lived. Finn's face crumpled when he learned his parents hadn't made it. I held him as he grieved, our roles reversed. We clung to each other in this new, brutal reality. Holed up in my house as the chaos raged outside. For a while, it felt like we could make it through anything. Until Finn was bitten. Now he's chained in the laundry room, a grotesque shadow of the man I loved. The unfairness of it all threatens to swallow me whole. We survived the end of the world, only to lose each other anyway. What cruel god would allow such torment? I study Milo's face, searching for any sign of deception. Are you alone? I ask, my voice barely above a whisper. He nods, a flicker of pain crossing his features.
Yeah. Raiders killed my friends. I've got no one now.
My chest tightens. I know that hollow ache all too well. I understand, I say softly. Losing someone precious, it tears you apart. Milo's eyes soften, and he leans forward slightly.
Sounds like you've been through hell, too. Want to talk about it?
I turn away, memories of Finn threatening to overwhelm me. No, I reply curtly. I don't. Silence stretches between us. Heavy with unspoken grief, I clear my throat. You must be hungry. I can get you something to eat.
I'd prefer if you untied me first,
Milo says, tugging at his restraints. I shake my head, a bitter laugh escaping me. Not a chance. You may look harmless now, but I've learned the hard way not to trust easily. Milo sighs, then flashes a resigned grin.
Fair enough. In that case, I'll have whatever you're having.
2 cans of Vienna sausages coming up, I announce, heading for the kitchen. As I rummage through our new supplies, I can't help but wonder if I'm making a mistake by helping the stranger. But then again, in a world where death lurks around every corner, maybe a little humanity is all we have left. I can almost hear Finn laughing at me. Chapter 4. I watch Milo struggle to his feet, his face contorting in pain. Part of me wants to help him, but I can't let my guard down. Not yet. Not after everything.
I need to use the bathroom,
Milo says, his voice strained.
You're not gonna make me lay in my own shit, are you?
I hesitate, weighing the risks. Finally I nod, raising the gun. Fine. But I'm keeping an eye on you. As I untie him, I can feel the heat radiating from his skin. Our eyes meet for a moment, and I quickly look away, unsettled by the intensity of his gaze.
Can I at least close the door?
Milo asks as we reach the bathroom.
I'd rather not have an audience.
I roll my eyes. Fine. The windows are boarded up anyway, but be quick about it. Milo stumbles, nearly falling.
Hey, a little help here?
No, I say firmly, even as a twinge of guilt nags at me. You managed to attack me before. You can manage this. He chuckles, the sound surprisingly warm.
Can't blame a guy for trying. You're pretty cute when you're all tough and suspicious, you know that?
Heat rushes to my face, and I silently curse my fair complexion. Just hurry up, I mutter, gesturing to the bathroom. As Milo closes the door, I back away. The last thing I want is to listen to him take a dump. I try to focus on staying alert, but my mind wanders. It's been so long since I've interacted with anyone besides Finn. The house feels different with another living person in it. Less like a tomb and more like, well, a home. The toilet flushes and Milo emerges, looking slightly better.
Back to bed?
He asks, raising an eyebrow. I nod, keeping the gun trained on him. Let's go.
Lying down for long periods can cause blood clots.
I thought that was from sitting, I reply, frowning.
Any prolonged immobility can do it. Look, I get why you're cautious, but I can barely stand. At least let me move around a bit.
I narrow my eyes. That didn't stop you from attacking me before. Milo's face falls.
I'm sorry about that. Really. I couldn't stand by and watch you hurt yourself.
His words catch me off guard, so I wasn't going to use the gun. I say softly, before I can stop myself. Confusion flashes across Milo's face.
But most people aim for the brain to prevent turning.
I don't want to talk about it. I snap, my chest tightening. The image of Finn, chained in the laundry room, flashes through my mind. I push it away, focusing on Milo. After a moment's hesitation, I lower the gun slightly. Fine, you can stay untied for now, but don't try anything. Well, he looked relieved.
Thank you for trusting me.
I wouldn't go that far, I mutter, but I can feel my resolve weakening. Milo starts to explore the house, his eyes taking in every detail. I follow close behind, gun at the ready. The floorboards creak beneath our feet, a familiar sound that's always been oddly comforting to me.
This place could use some work,
Milo comments, running his hand along a cracked windowsill. I take in the house through fresh eyes, the peeling wallpaper, the water stains on the ceiling, the worn furniture that's seen better days. Dust motes dance in the weak sunlight filtering through the boarded-up windows. It's shabby and run down, but it's been my sanctuary for so long. It's over 100 years old, I explain, a hint of defensiveness in my voice. Milo nods.
It shows. But hey, that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's got character.
He pauses, turning to face me.
Listen, I know you don't trust me yet, but we could make this work. Stay here together, patch the place up, or
He hesitates.
we could leave. Start fresh somewhere else.
I tense up, my finger tightening on the trigger. What are you talking about?
There's a place. Sanctuary Island. I heard about it on a broadcast about a week ago. No zombies, military protection. They check everyone for bites before letting them in. It's safe. I even have a map that could lead us there.
The idea is tempting. I can't deny it. A place without the constant threat of death. It sounds like a dream. But dreams have a way of turning into nightmares these days. That sounds nice, I say cautiously, but maybe too good to be true. Milo steps closer, his gaze intense.
I know you've lost hope, but we could do this together. Watch each other's backs. Head to the city, find a boat. What do you say?
I look away, unable to meet his eyes. His enthusiasm is infectious, and I find myself questioning everything. The plan I had to join Finn in on death. Suddenly it seems less like a romantic gesture and more like giving up. You're determined, I say softly. You've got what it takes to survive. I'd only get you killed. Milo's face softens.
Is that why you wanted to end it? You're blaming yourself for someone's death?
The words hit me like a punch to the gut. My boyfriend, I whisper. The pain as fresh as the day it happened. Finn. He could have survived without me. I held him back.
That's not true. Trust me, being alone, it fucks you up in ways you can't imagine. Besides,
He adds, a hint of a smile playing on his lips.
you're small and cute and pretty to look at. It's a morale booster.
I feel my cheeks heat up, and despite everything, I find myself smiling. It feels foreign, like my face has forgotten how to make the expression.
There it is. You've got a nice smile too. I'm glad I got to see it.
I can't help but smile wider, even as tears prick at my eyes. It's been so long since anyone has spoken to me like this, with kindness and warmth. Part of me wants to lean into it, to let myself believe that maybe, just maybe, there's still hope in this world. But then I hear it, the soft guttural moan coming from the laundry room. Finn. My smile fades as quickly as it appeared.
What was that?
Milo asks, his body tensing. I shake my head, willing my voice to remain steady. Nothing, just the wind, probably. Milo doesn't look convinced, but he doesn't push it. Instead, he sinks onto the worn couch, wincing as the movement jostles his wound.
So, what's your story? How'd you end up here, all alone?
I sit on the recliner, keeping a safe distance between us. The gun rests in my lap. It's not a happy story, I warn him.
Few are these days.
Milo replies with a sad smile.
But I'd like to hear it if you're willing to share. It's good to let these things out and not let it fester.
I take a deep breath, steeling myself. Finn and I, we grew up in this town. It was small, the kind of place where everyone knows your business. Being gay, it wasn't easy. Milo nods sympathetically.
I can imagine.
Finn was complicated, I continue, the memories flooding back. He bullied me at first, along with the other jocks, but then, one day, I trail off, unsure how much to reveal.
One day?
I shake my head. It doesn't matter. We started seeing each other in secret. It wasn't always healthy, but I loved him. God, I loved him so much. My voice breaks, and I have to pause to collect myself. Milo waits patiently, his green eyes filled with compassion. After graduation, Finn left for the city, I continue. He promised he'd come back for me, but weeks turned into months. I thought he'd forgotten about me.
But he came back.
I nod, a bitter laugh escaping me. Yeah, he came back. When the world ended, just showed up one day, like some goddamn hero in a leather jacket.
That must have been intense.
It was everything, I admit. For a while, it felt like we could make it through anything. We holed up here and scavenged what we could. But then, my voice catches, and I have to swallow hard before continuing. We went on a supply run. Things went wrong. Finn got bit. The room feels suddenly airless. I can hear my heart pounding in my ears, feel the sting of tears threatening to spill over.
I'm so sorry,
Milo says, leaning forward.
Losing someone like that, it's unbearable.
I nod, unable to speak for a moment. When I finally find my voice again, it's barely above a whisper. I couldn't do it. Couldn't put him down, so
What do you mean?
I left him. End of story. Let's talk about other shit. Chapter 5. The darkness creeps in as Milo and I talk for hours. Sprawled out in the living room, he's on the couch, leg propped up, while I'm curled in the recliner across from him. My eyelids grow heavy, and I realize it's time to call it a night. We should get some sleep, I say, grabbing my gun. It's late. Milo's eyes lock onto mine.
You never gave me a solid answer about the island. You coming with me?
I sigh, running a hand through my hair. I don't know, Milo. What if it doesn't even exist anymore? He frowns.
How could an entire island not exist?
I mean, what if zombies overran it? I can't help but chuckle at his confusion. When did you even hear about this place?
A little while ago. But it beats running around the city, fighting for our lives every day. On that island, we could have peace, a normal life. This town is nearly bone dry.
His words paint a tempting picture, but I can't shake my doubts. Peace isn't free, I argue. If it exists, the people in charge will want something from us, maybe turn us into cannon fodder against the undead. Milo sits up, wincing slightly.
I'm not afraid of working for that peace.
He stands, closing the distance between us. My breath catches as his hand brushes my cheek. It's gentle, almost reverent, and I feel a flush of heat spread across my skin, but guilt follows close behind, knowing Finn, or what's left of him, is just a room away. Memories flood back. Finn and I never went all the way. The most we ever did was me going down on him when he asked. I was always too scared to request anything in return, terrified of losing him, so I accepted my role, pleasuring him whenever he wanted it. But this, Milo's touch, it's different. No one's ever caressed me like this before. Milo leans in, his voice low and seductive.
I don't mind working for peace, but I'll also work to protect what's mine. No way I'd let a pretty thing like you take on dangerous work.
I blush, heart racing. Oh, I tease, trying to mask my nervousness. What kind of work would I do then? A devilish smile plays on his lips.
Stay at home and cook, of course.
I roll my eyes, the spell broken. For now. As I get up from the recliner, Milo's face falls.
Did I say something wrong? I didn't mean to reduce your contribution. I was just joking.
It's fine, I mutter, then pause. It's just, I didn't want to embarrass myself by mentioning how I didn't want another servant role where I'm easy to leave behind and easy to return to when it suited him. I had enough of that. Are you into guys?
Yeah, always have been.
He says easily.
You too, right? I mean, you mentioned a boyfriend.
I nod. I am, though I've only been with one guy. Milo's expression softens.
Shit. I'm sorry for flirting. It's probably too soon.
It is, I admit, my chest tightening at the thought of Finn.
I get it. But in a world like this, you should think about finding another man. Fast. And I wouldn't mind being that man.
My eyebrows shoot up. Why's that? He leans back, his gaze traveling over me.
It's a dog-eat-dog world out there. Let's be honest. Anyone can look at you and tell you're easy pickings. You're small, cute, prettier than any woman. And most men these days don't give a shit if you're a woman or a man.
I laugh, but there's no humor in it. You think you can protect me? Need I remind you that you dropped onto my floor with a bullet wound? I had to save you.
Touché, or whatever those French people say.
Milo grins.
That was a fluke. Won't happen again. I can fight, hunt, shoot. I don't mind killing other humans. But you, Liam, you're too kind. Even when you pointed that gun at me, you hesitated. That can get you killed. With me, you can survive. Hell, even thrive once we make it to that island.
He pauses, a mischievous glint in his eye.
And not to toot my own horn, but I've gotten compliments from my past lovers.
My face burns hot. I can't handle you talking about these things so matter-of-factly, like it's a business transaction. Milo laughs.
I feel the same way, kind of, but no sense in beating around the bush. I know what I want, and ever since I saw you, I wanted you.
Go to bed, I mutter, overwhelmed by his directness. Milo raises his hands in mock surrender and strolls into the bedroom and lays down. I grab the rope, intent on restraining him for the night, when he suddenly snatches the gun from my hand. Give it back, I demand, reaching for the weapon, but Milo keeps it just out of reach, a playful glint in his eye. Before I can react, he pulls me close and kisses me. It's passionate, hungry. Finn had never kissed me. I freeze, realizing with a pang that Finn really never kissed me at all. My mind races. This is wrong. Finn is just in the other room. But Finn isn't really Finn anymore, is he? And Milo is warm and alive and looking at me like I'm the only person left in the world. I break away, gasping for air. Milo,
I know.
he says softly, his forehead resting against mine.
Too fast. I'm sorry, God, Liam, you have no idea how much I want you.
My heart pounds. Part of me wants to give in, to lose myself in his touch and forget about the horrors waiting outside. I wasn't given a chance to think when he pulls me into another kiss. Chapter 7. I wake up with a dull ache in my body, a reminder of last night's passion with Milo. The bed feels empty without him, and I sit up scanning the room. Where is he? Panic sets in as I stumble out of bed, my heart racing. Did he leave? Was this all just a cruel joke? I throw on some clothes and search the house, calling his name in a whisper. Then I see him in the laundry room, with Finn. My blood runs cold as I watch Milo stare at the thing that used to be my boyfriend. Finn's cloudy eyes lock onto Milo, his jaw snapping uselessly as he strains against the chains. "What are you doing?" I demand, my voice cracking. Milo turns, his face a mask of shock and, is that pity?
Liam, I'm sorry, I heard noises and thought.
You thought what? I snap, anger rising to replace the fear. That you'd take care of my problem for me? He shakes his head, holding up his hands.
No, I can't believe you've been living like this. With him here.
I can't do it, I whisper, the fight draining out of me. I can't kill him. Milo's eyes soften.
Liam, he's suffering. This isn't living.
You don't know anything, I shout, surprising even myself with the volume. You don't know me, or him, or what we shared.
A relationship where you only blow your lover doesn't sound like much of a relationship at all.
Milo says, his voice gentle, but his words cutting deep.
Finn must have been some hotshot jock in this small dipshit town with a taste for women. Well, that's the fake image he set up for himself. Behind closed doors, he gets his cock sucked by you. Probably because he thought that just getting blown didn't really make him a faggot.
The words hit me like a physical blow. Before I can think, my fist connects with Milo's jaw. He stumbles back, rubbing the spot where I hit him, but doesn't retaliate. I'm sorry, I say immediately, shame washing over me. I shouldn't have.
It's okay. People tend to resort to fists when they run out of words.
He gives me a sad smile, before heading back to the bedroom, leaving me alone with Finn. I sink to the floor, my back against the wall, and stare at the creature that used to be the man I loved. Milo's words echo in my head, forcing me to confront truths I've tried so hard to ignore. Was our relationship really that one-sided? Finn never wanted to kiss me, never wanted more than my mouth on him. When he demanded to be blown, I did it without question. I never asked for anything in return. And his return to town, was it really for me? His family was still here. He didn't even come to my house when we reunited. That day, when he saved me from the zombie at the store, the first thing he asked about was his parents. I remember it so clearly. I was starving, my stomach a hollow ache that gnawed at me constantly. The last of my food had run out days ago, and I knew I had to risk a trip to the store, or face a slow, painful death. I was so weak, my limbs trembling, as I made my way down the empty streets. The store loomed ahead, its windows shattered, shelves likely picked clean, but I had to try. As I stumbled inside, the stench of rotting produce hit me like a wall. I gagged, fumbling power through the aisles, grabbing anything that looked edible. That's when I heard it, the telltale moan of a zombie. I spun around, my heart pounding, to see one of those things lurching towards me. In my panic, I dropped my bag, spilling precious cans across the floor. I ran, my legs feeling like lead, the zombie's rasping breaths getting closer with each second. I burst out of the store, but I knew I couldn't outrun it for long. That's when I heard the gunshot. The zombie collapsed behind me, and I turned to see Finn standing there, gun still raised, looking like some kind of avenging angel. But instead of rushing to embrace me, instead of asking if I was okay, the first words out of his mouth were,
"Where are my parents? Are they alive?"
I remember the devastation on his face when I told him about the school, about how everyone had been overwhelmed. The first few days after everything went to hell, the sheriff had gathered as many survivors as he could at the high school. It seemed like a good plan at first. Safety in numbers, a defensible location. But it only took one person hiding a bite to bring it all crashing down. I can still hear the screams echoing through the gym, see the panic as the infection spread like wildfire. The last thing I saw before I ran was Finn's parents huddled with a group in the corner, terror etched on their faces. I barely made it out alive. When I finished telling Finn what happened, his expression crumbled. Without a word, he drove off, leaving me standing there in shock. I wanted to call out, to beg him to take me with him, but the words stuck in my throat. All I could do was watch as he disappeared down the road, wondering if I'd ever see him again. It wasn't until the next day that he showed up at my house, heartbroken about his parents, saying we should stay together. Was I just convenient? A warm mouth and someone to keep him from being alone. But then, why did he protect me from that raider? Why did he come back at all? I groan, pressing the heels of my hands against my eyes. It's all too confusing, too painful to think about. Finn's not here to answer these questions, and dwelling on them won't change anything. Days pass in a haze of tension and silence. Milo and I barely speak, the weight of our argument hanging heavy between us. I can feel myself slipping back into depression. The brief spark of hope, Milo ignited flickering dangerously. I'm in the kitchen, mechanically preparing some canned food, when Milo appears in the doorway.
Liam,
He says softly.
I'm sorry. I had no right to judge your relationship with Finn. I was out of line.
I sigh, setting down the can opener. It's okay, your words. They were just the thoughts that ran through my own head sometimes. That's why I hit you, because if someone who didn't even know us could reach the same conclusions I once did, then...
Anyone could see it.
I nod, swallowing hard. Finn never once called when he left town. Sometimes I wonder if I would have ever seen him again, if this outbreak didn't happen. Milo steps closer, his eyes full of compassion.
I'm still sorry. Whatever your relationship was with Finn, it doesn't matter now. He's gone. And what he would have wanted more than anything is for someone who knew him to stay alive, to remember him. It's what I would want too.
He takes my hand, his touch sending a jolt through me.
Liam, please. Choose life. Come with me.
I'm about to respond, when a strange smell catches my attention. It's coming from Milo's wound. Without thinking, I pull back his shirt and peel away the bandage. My heart sinks when I see the telltale green tinge of infection.
Shit!
Milo curses, looking down at the wound. I shouldn't have licked it, I say, panic rising in my chest. Milo tries to reassure me.
It's okay. I won't let some little wound take me out.
But I can already feel the heat radiating from his skin, see the slight glaze in his eyes. I can't lose someone else, not when I was just starting to feel hope again. I rush to the living room, frantically searching through our supplies for antibiotics. Nothing. My hands shake as I empty bag after bag, desperation mounting. I have to go to the pharmacy, I say, my voice trembling. I need to get antibiotics. Milo insists on coming with me, but I press my hand to his forehead, feeling the fever already taking hold. No, you're already sick. We can't let the infection reach your bloodstream. I'll go alone. Before I can move, Milo grabs me and drags me to the floor. I'm about to protest, when he covers my mouth with his hand, his eyes fixed on the window. After a moment, he releases me and whispers,
Raiders! They're searching the houses.
Now I can hear them too, voices carrying on the wind. My heart pounds in my chest as I realize my gun is still in the bedroom. We're trapped in the living room, defenseless. I risk a glance out the window, using the thick curtains as cover. The raiders are there, but now zombies are chasing them away. It's chaos out there. The undead pouring out of houses they'd been trapped in that the raiders stupidly kicked open.
The raiders will be back,
Milo says grimly. He pulls out a map from his pocket, unfolding it to reveal the location of the island and the city docks.
We need to leave, tonight. We'll hit the pharmacy for meds, then make for the docks.
I shake my head. The city's too risky. My eyes scan the map, an idea forming. There's a boat by the lake. We can take it to open waters and still reach the island. I point to a spot on the map. Mr. Rayfield's cabin. Kids used to swim there in the summer. He has a fishing boat with a bed and everything. Milo's face lights up.
I like that idea better. We grab that boat and use it to get to the island. Together, we can do anything. We can live.
I nod, a mixture of excitement and guilt churning in my stomach. Okay, we'll go together. As Milo starts packing our supplies, I find myself drawn back to the laundry room. Finn's vacant eyes follow me as I enter, his chains rattling as he strains towards me. I had a choice to make. How can I leave him like this? But how can I end his suffering? The gun is too loud, too risky with raiders nearby. It would have to be a knife to the brain. I stand there, frozen, as memories of Finn flood my mind. The good and the bad, the love and the pain. He wasn't perfect. Our relationship was flawed, but in my mind he was mine. And now...
Liam?
Milo's voice breaks through my thoughts.
Pack up whatever you need.
Chapter 8. Nightfall descends, casting long shadows across this devastated neighborhood. The air is thick with tension, as raiders search nearby houses, their voices as harsh as the weather. I watch from the window as teams systematically take down roaming zombies, their efficiency both impressive and terrifying. The group was now larger than they were earlier. My heart thumps as I turn to face Milo. His fever-bright eyes meet mine, and I know what I have to do. The decision weighs heavy on my soul, but there's no other choice. I have to choose life. I have to choose Milo. I need to end it, I whisper, my voice barely audible. For Finn. Milo nods, understanding etched on his face.
Do you want me to...
I shake my head. No, it has to be me. I retrieve Finn's combat knife from its hiding place. The weight of it feels wrong in my grip. I make my way to the laundry room, each step feeling like a mile. Finn's vacant eyes follow me as I enter, his cuffs rattling as he strains towards me. The sound cuts through me like a physical blow. I kneel beside him, close enough to smell the rot emanating from his decaying flesh. I'm so sorry, Finn, I choke out, tears blurring my vision. I never wanted it to end like this. I loved you. I still love you. But I can't keep you here like this. It's not fair to either of us. My fingers brush against his matted hair, remembering how it used to feel when it was soft and clean. I hope you can forgive me, I whisper. I hope wherever you are, you understand. I raise the knife, its blade glinting in the dim light. My hand shakes so badly I can barely keep my grip. I close my eyes, take a deep breath, and plunge the knife into Finn's skull. There's a sickening crunch, then silence. When I open my eyes, Finn is still, truly still, for the first time since he turned. A sob tears from my throat as I collapse against his body, the knife clattering to the floor. I don't know how long I stay there, crying into what's left of the man I once loved. Eventually I feel Milo's hand on my shoulder, gently pulling me away.
We need to go. The raiders will be back soon.
I nod, wiping my face with trembling hands. As we gather our supplies, I cast one last look at Finn's body. Goodbye, I whisper. I'll never forget you. We slip out of the house from the back door under cover of darkness, keeping to the shadows as we hop the fences and make our way towards the pharmacy. The streets are eerily quiet, the earlier chaos having moved on. Every rustle, every distant moan sets my nerves on edge. The pharmacy wasn't far, its broken windows like jagged teeth in the moonlight. We creep inside. Milo keeps watch, while I search frantically for antibiotics. Just as I'm about to give up hope, I spot a bottle rolled under the sink. This is it, just what I need, but the moment is short-lived. A snarl from behind me sends ice through my veins. I whirl around to see a zombie lunging at me, its rotting hands grasping for my flesh. I stumble backward, my hip slamming into the counter as I try to put distance between us. Milo rushes in, grabbing a nearby walker, and swinging it at the zombie's head. The impact sends the creature reeling, but it doesn't go down. Instead, it turns its attention to Milo, giving me a chance to scramble away. I search desperately for a weapon, my eyes landing on a heavy glass bottle. As the zombie bears down on Milo, I bring the bottle crashing down on its skull. The glass shatters, but the zombie keeps coming. Milo pushes it hard, sending it stumbling into a shelf. Items crash to the floor, the noise echoing through the empty pharmacy. My heart stops as I hear voices outside. The raiders!
Hide!
Milo hisses, dragging me behind the counter. We crouch there, hardly daring to breathe as footsteps approach. The door creaks open and I hear a man's voice.
What the fuck?
There's a scuffle, then a gunshot. The zombie's body hits the floor with a sickening thud.
Check the place.
Another voice orders, a woman's.
Could be more of them.
Milo grabs the antibiotics from my hand, quickly swallowing a few pills before shoving the bottle in his bag. He leans in close, his breath hot on my ear.
I'll distract them. You get out through the back door. Meet me at the lake.
I shake my head frantically. No way, we stick together.
Trust me. I'll be right behind you, I promise.
Before I can argue further, Milo crawls away, signaling for me to head for the back room. My heart aches as I watch him go, but I trust him. I have to. I slip into the back room, grabbing more meds and gauze as I go. Just as I'm about to leave, I hear voices. Not the usual sounds of fighting, but conversation. Curiosity gets the better of me. I creep back to the door, pressing my ear against it gently.
Milo, man, what the fuck? Why'd you abandon us?
My blood runs cold. They know him.
Yeah. We were supposed to steal the map and leave together. Orlando won't stop until he finds you. He'll kill you for stealing that map to the island.
Milo's voice comes next. Familiar, yet somehow different.
I had to lay low somewhere safe to recover from getting shot.
You wouldn't have gotten shot if you hadn't attacked those looters.
I couldn't help it. That asshole had what I wanted. I needed to get rid of him. Now I have that sweet thing for myself, and I plan to be a better man for him than he ever was.
You're crazy, man. You see a cute guy you like and kill a man for him.
Never mind that. You still want out. We can still leave these asshole raiders together. Go to that island and live in peace.
What about your new cute boyfriend? What would he think about us just showing up?
My stomach churns as I realize they're talking about me.
It's okay. Liam's a good guy. He'll accept you after a while. Just don't tell him you're part of the raiders who got his man killed.
The world spins around me as the truth crashes down. Milo lied. He's one of them. He's the reason Finn is dead.
I can't believe he hasn't caught on that he's shacking up with the dude who killed his boyfriend.
The guy says, laughing. Milo's response makes me want to vomit.
Because he's a good man. Rare these days. I want to keep him innocent. I plan to be good to Liam.
Rage and heartbreak war within me as I stumble away from the door. How could I have been so stupid? So naive. I trusted him. But even as anger burns through me, a small part of my heart aches at his words. He wants to be good to me. He plans to be better. Does that count for anything in this fucked up world? I shake my head, pushing the thoughts away. I can't afford to be weak now. I have to get out of here. Get to the lake. Figure out what the hell I'm going to do next. As I slip out the back door, the cool night air hits me like a slap. I run, my feet pounding against the pavement, my lungs burning. Tears stream down my face, but I don't slow down. I can't. The lake was ahead, its surface a mirror reflecting the star-studded sky. It's beautiful, peaceful, not at all like the turmoil raging inside me. I collapse on the shore, my body shaking with sobs. Of course that fucker would lie to me. I was easy pickings. As my tears subside, replaced by a hollow emptiness, I force myself to think. What do I do now? Wait for Milo and confront him? Leave without him? Try to make it to the island on my own? Chapter 9. My eyes scan the surface of the water, searching for Mr. Rayfield's boat. There it is, bobbing gently in the middle of the lake. I couldn't help but feel a little hopeful. Could Mr. Rayfield still be alive out there? I open my mouth to call out, but hesitation stops me. What if he's not the kindly old man I remember? What if he shoots first and asks questions later? Survival has changed us all. I can't risk it. I leave my bag on the shore and wade into the water. It's shockingly cold, stealing my breath as I start to swim. Every splash feels too loud in the stillness of the night. My muscles burn with the effort, but I push on. Finally, I reach the boat. I climb the ladder and haul myself over the side, collapsing on the deck, gasping for air. As I catch my breath, the familiar, sickening smell hits me. Death. My stomach churns as I force myself to look. There's Mr. Rayfield, slumped in the captain's chair. What's left of his head is splattered across the controls. He chose a quick way out. I can't blame him. I find the keys in his pocket, trying not to look at his face. The tank is half full. Maybe enough to reach the island. Maybe not. It's a gamble. But what choice do I have? As I start the engine, my mind races. Should I leave Milo behind? The thought of being alone again terrifies me. But can I trust him after what I've learned? His words echo in my head. I plan to be good to Liam. It was a business transaction to him from the start. Maybe that's all it should be for me, too. Use him and his friends to reach the island, then ditch them. It's cruel. But this world doesn't reward kindness anymore. I steer the boat towards the dock, my hands shaking on the wheel. As I approach, I see figures moving on the shore. My heart leaps into my throat. It's Milo, with the guy and girl from the pharmacy. I get out and meet up with them on the shore. They're laughing, carefree, as if the world hasn't ended. Anger bubbles up inside me. It was like they were laughing at my gullible stupidity. Laughing at me. Suddenly, Milo whirls around, raising his gun. 2 shots ring out, and the others crumple to the ground. I flinch, my body tensing for a fight. Milo spots the boat.
Holy shit. I gotta admit, I didn't think there was a boat here.
I hesitate, torn between fear and the desperate need not to be alone. Why did you kill them? I demand.
They were with the raiders. I got away by telling them about the boat and island, but there was no way I was bringing them with us.
He searches their bodies, pocketing weapons and ammo. The casual way he handles their corpses makes my skin crawl. This is the man I've been sleeping with. The man I thought might be my salvation. I heard everything, I blurt out, unable to hold it in any longer. At the pharmacy. I know you killed Finn. I know those were your friends. Milo freezes, his green eyes meeting mine. I see the moment he realizes he can't lie his way out of this. He sighs, running a hand through his black hair.
You're right. I was with the raiders, but I wasn't lying about escaping them. I hated who I was becoming. This island, it's a chance at a new life, for both of us.
He tells me about Orlando, the raider leader who found the map. His eyes darken as he recounts how Orlando and his gang ambushed a group of survivors who had information about the island.
It was a bloodbath,
Milo says, his voice tight with disgust.
Orlando tortured them for hours, trying to get every detail he could about the place. When he was done, he killed them all, men, women, even a couple of kids.
Milo's fists clench as he continues.
That bastard thought he could just waltz onto the island and take over, as if he could fight off the military stationed there.
He scoffs, shaking his head.
Orlando's plan was to sneak in, gather intel, then come back with a larger force. He wanted to slaughter everyone. The soldiers, the civilians, everyone. Turn it into his own personal kingdom.
His eyes meet mine, a mix of determination and something that might be regret flickering in their depths.
I couldn't let that happen, so when I saw my chance to steal the map, I took it. I know it doesn't make what I did right, but I couldn't stand by and watch Orlando destroy the only safe place I knew about.
My eyes darted to the two bodies on the ground.
You think I'm a monster, don't you? But you don't know the half of it. Those two I killed, Janie and Robert, they were sick fucks. Not my friends, not even close.
He pauses, running a hand through his hair, his gaze distant.
Janie, she had this thing. She liked to watch. They loved coming across new people just trying to survive, especially if they had girls with them. She'd gain their trust and make them think she was their friend. And then she'd bring them to Robert.
I feel bile rise in my throat as he continues, his voice dripping with disgust.
Robert was a special kind of evil. He liked to hurt them, Liam. He liked to make them scream. And Janie, she'd just watch, this sick smile on her face. She got off on it.
I shake my head, unable to comprehend such cruelty. Why? Why would anyone do that? Milo shrugs, his eyes hard.
Who knows? Power trip? Kick from the violence? Whatever their reasons, they were fucked up. I saw it happen once, and I promised myself I'd end them if I ever got the chance.
He looks at me then, his gaze intense.
They deserved those bullets, Liam. They deserved worse. I did the world a favor by taking them out.
I pointed my gun at his head. And what about you? What you did to Finn? I snarl. To my surprise, Milo grabs the barrel, pressing it against his forehead.
You're right. You should, but hear me out first.
He looks me in the eye, his gaze intense.
I vow to protect what's mine. I'll keep you safe, Liam. I'll make love to you whenever you want. I'll make sure you never have to live in fear again. Isn't that a better deal than what Finn offered?
Tears blur my vision as I lower the gun. Everything in me screams that this is wrong, that I should put a bullet in his brain and be done with it. But the thought of being alone again, it's unbearable. I lash out, punching Milo in his chest wound. He groans in pain, doubling over. I accept your offer, I say, my voice cold. But I'll be as demanding as I want.
Whatever it takes. I'll do anything to make you happy, to make you accept me.
As I stare at him, hunched over in pain but still looking at me with those intense eyes, I realize just how dark and cruel this new world truly is. I want to live. If Milo promises that, then I'll take it, no matter the cost. We board the boat and place our supplies inside. We didn't have enough gas, but this thing had sails attached and I knew nothing about sailing. I guess we would cross that path later. Get rid of the old man's body, I order, gesturing to Mr. Rayfield's corpse. Milo nods, dragging the body to the side of the boat. I watch as he tips it overboard, barely flinching as it splashes into the water. This is who I am now. This is what it takes to survive. I take the wheel and start it up, my grip tight as I steer us away from the shore, away from everything I've ever known, towards an uncertain future. As we pick up speed, cutting through the dark water, I can't help but think about how much has changed. Just days ago, I was ready to give up, to join Finn in Undeath. Now, I'm clinging to life, with a desperation that surprises even me. I glance at Milo, who's watching me with a mix of wariness and hope. He's a killer, a liar, the man who took Finn from me. But he's also my ticket to survival, to a chance at something more than just scraping by day to day. Tell me more about this island, I say, breaking the tense silence. Milo looks up at me while rummaging through the bags.
It's as I said. No zombies, military protection. They've got farms, electricity, even running water. It's like a little piece of the old world, preserved.
It sounds too good to be true. Part of me wonders if it's just another lie, a fantasy to keep me compliant. But I want to believe. I need to believe. If they let us in. Milo shakes his head.
Don't worry. Between your medical knowledge and my skills, we should be fine.
I flinch at the reminder of Milo's skills. How many people has he killed? How many lives has he ruined? And now, I'm throwing my lot in with him. But isn't that what survival is now? Making impossible choices. Compromising everything you once believed in. Just to see another day. The end.
I would like to give a special thanks to both patrons and Lunar listeners. Thank you so much for your support. It's all going directly into creating more audio content for your listening pleasure. Lunar listeners receive early access to all audio chapters on YouTube. Patreon members receive early access to uncensored audio chapters, along with full audio shorts too hot for Amazon and YouTube.